the trade agreements pushed by corporate America, pushed by Wall Street, pushed by the pharmaceutical industry are very, very good if you are the CEO of a major corporation, but they are a disaster if you are an American worker.
Our guest tonight is a monster of the Senate who scared me half to death the last time he was on the show. Senator Bernie Sanders, thanks for making time for us this evening. Senator Sanders,
you're never going to forgive me for that, are you?
I'm not. Neither is my cardiologist. Right now, Senator Sanders, there's been a lot of action today on trade. Republicans are saying that this trade pact is effectively dead, and that Democrats are to blame. I'm asking you a two-part question. Number one, do you think that it's dead? And if it is dead, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I wish it were dead, but, you know, the Republicans control the U.S. Senate, the U.S. House. I have the feeling that they're going to bring it back up again. Senator Sanders, do you object? I mean, I know you have specific objections to this trade agreement, but it seems to me on the basis of things that you've said about 20 years of trade deals that you have a broader problem with free trade. So can you just say whether it's the specifics here? Is there some way in which this bill or these set of bills could be changed that would make this deal okay with you, or are you basically just against the concept of liberalizing trade at this point in American economic history? I am for a good trade bill that benefits workers, but I'm not for a trade bill that will continue the race to the bottom and that could cost us hundreds of thousands or millions of more jobs. Look, the record is very clear. NAFTA, permanent normal trade relations with China, have failed. We have lost 60,000 factories in America since 2001, and a lot of that has to do with trade. Workers today are working longer hours for lower wages because they don't have decent manufacturing jobs. The minimum wage in Vietnam is 56 cents an hour. No, I do not believe that American workers should be competing against people who are forced for such low wages.
Senator Sanders, obviously President Obama disagrees with you pretty vehemently. If this deal does go down on the basis of Democratic objections like yours, there are people who think that that is pretty much the end of President Obama's administration domestically, that he won't really have any chance to get anything else done. If that is the case, do you feel any sense of guilt or responsibility for that?
No, not just inside the Beltway punditry. 2 weeks from now, we'll be dealing with other important issues. For example, the president is going to deal with the scandal in terms of overtime, so the people who work more than 40 hours a week get time and a half. We're going to work to raise the minimum wage. We're going to work on pay equity. We're going to work on the infrastructure. This trade agreement, to my mind, is a very bad idea. President Obama follows President Clinton and Bush and Reagan in pushing, in this case, the corporate agenda. They're wrong. I hope it's defeated. I think the American people want it defeated. We need new trade agreements which protect American workers and not just Wall Street and corporate America.
Senator, if it is defeated, it seems to be the case that a Republican in the Senate and in the House cooperation with the president might be at an end. The agenda that you laid out is going to require some Republican votes. So are you optimistic? Would your message to the president be, let this deal go down, but let's all find a way to both parties to work together on your agenda, or is that not possible?
No, I think right. Let this deal go down. Forget about unfettered free trade. Let's work on a new fundamental approach toward trade. In the meantime, let us rally the American people. The American people are very clear. What they want, for example, is to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure where we can create millions of jobs. Let's work on that. The American people want to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. Let's work on that. Almost everybody agrees that it's wrong when women make 78 cents an hour compared to men. Let's work on that. So there are a lot of issues out there that we can work on together. Let's rally the American people. Let's put pressure on Republicans to start standing up for ordinary folks rather than just their campaign contributors.
Senator, two of your friends, Elizabeth Warren and Mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, put forward today a list of things very much like you're talking about. I'm wondering, right now, as you look at Elizabeth Warren, you look at Hillary Clinton, which one of them would you say is more ideologically aligned with you?
Well, there's no question about it. Elizabeth Warren has been a friend of mine for many years. We work closely on many issues. I think our approach toward the needs of the American people are very similar.
So where would you say that, what are the specific issues where you'd say you're more in line ideologically with Elizabeth Warren than you are with Hillary Clinton?
Well, we're talking about right now trade policy and the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Senator Warren and I have worked together and very closely with Sherrod Brown and others in saying this is not a good agreement for American workers. Secretary Clinton has not been clear about her position on this issue. In terms of Wall Street, I have called for the breaking up of the large financial institutions. I think they have too much power. I worry about another too big to fail. I worry about their outsized influence on the economy. I think that's very similar to what Elizabeth Warren believes. Secretary Clinton, I'm not quite sure where she's coming on that position. I voted against the war in Iraq. Senator Warren was not in the Senate at that time. Secretary Clinton voted against that. I voted against the Keystone Pipeline and worry very much about climate change, the need to be bold. Secretary Clinton has not, I believe, been clear about her position on that issue.
Senator Sanders, I know you've been busy today, but as Mark just said, Mayor de Blasio has laid out his version of a contract with America, playing off Newt Gingrich's old conceit from the 1990s. Number one, will you be signing on to that contract, or do you think that contract doesn't even go quite as far as you think it needs to go?
Well, to be honest with you, I talked to Bill de Blasio a month or so ago. I think he's doing a great job in pushing a progressive agenda. I have not seen all of the details, but what I will tell you is that, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months ago, we put out what we called an agenda for America, which I think probably is fairly close on most details in terms of what Mayor de Blasio was talking about. Bottom line is that when you have 99% of all new income going to the top 1%, and when the top 1/10 of 1% owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%, clearly, if we're going to have a sustainable economy, a moral economy, you have to deal with the situation of income and wealth inequality in America. And I know de Blasio feels the same thing.
Okay, Senator Sanders, I have one last question for you on a very, very serious topic. The only thing maybe more important than the fate of Trans-Pacific trade, which is the fate of your favorite football team. I believe you are a New England Patriots fan. The NFL's come down with what some see as a quite draconian penalty for Deflategate, suspending Tom Brady for 4 games, taking away 2 draft picks, and fining the team $1 million. Is that too harsh, or is that just about right in your view for the infraction in question?
Well, let me just say that I hope very much that Brady gets back as soon as possible and New England repeats. I haven't yet studied that NFL document, so no comment on it.
Can I put you down then as being on the side of the cheaters, Senator Sanders?
No, you can't. It's just something that I have not thoroughly examined. Right now I'm working on TPP and raising the minimum wage and other minor issues like that.
Okay, when you have a chance to look over that report, we'll have you back on the show to do a detailed autopsy on it.
No, not just one show. We need to do many shows on that issue. How's that?
That sounds great. We'll do a whole week devoted to Deflategate and Senator Sanders with a few monster imitations along the way. Senator Sanders, thank you for coming on the show. When we come back, the man with all the answers, Tom Brokaw, after this.